This is my math homework number 17, Wednesday. For the first one, it says simplify the fractions. So we have 4/20. You have to divide the numerator and the denominator by a number that they both can be divided by. You can use 2, but the best one to use would be 4, because 4 divided by 4 gives you 1, and the 20 divided by 4 gives you 5. So 4/20 equals 1/5. If you were to do 2, here's what would have happened. When you divide it by 2, you would get 2 over 10, and then you have to do it again. That's why you just want to do it one time by doing divided by 4. And that way you don't have to do divide by 2 and then divide by 2 again to get your 1/5. For the fraction to the right hand side, you want to divide both by the number 10, because 10 can obviously go into 80 8 times, and 10 can go into 10 once. And 8 over 1 is just 8. Whenever you see a number over 1, it's always 8, or whatever that number is, because it's 8 divided by 1, and 8 divided by 1 equals 8. For the second one, imagine it's a whole number, so it's 914 times 6. 6 times 4 is 24, carry the 2. 6 times 1 is 6, add 2 is 8. 6 times 9 is 54. We know that there's going to be 2 numbers behind the decimal, so it goes there. Our answer is 54 and 84 hundredths. For the third one, the first thing we need to do is make our divisor into a whole number by moving it to the right once. We'll do the same thing on the inside. So then the math problem becomes 2.1 is being divided by 7. 7 cannot go into 2. It can go 21 perfectly 3 times. And now we just got to put the decimal in the right spot. You do have one number behind the decimal, so we'll put one number behind the decimal, so it'll be 3/10. For the next one, let's use greater than, less than, or equal to compare the decimal numbers. You have 22 wholes and 22 wholes. You have 0.5, and you add a 0 here. That makes it 50 hundredths, and 50 is bigger than that 5 on the left-hand side. We have 3/6 and 6/8. Let's go ahead and compare them. Let's go and divide both by 3, and that will give us 1/2. And then obviously in this one, we'll divide this one by 2. To simplify it, we'll get 3/4. They're not the same thing. So 3/4 is actually greater than 1/2, because you think about 1/2. 1/2 is the same thing as 2/4, and 3/4 is greater than 2/4. So the number on the right hand side is greater. The 6/8 is greater. For the next one, in my garden, I planted 1 2/3 rows of seeds. The crows came along and ate 1 1/5 rows of seeds. How many rows are left? So we know that's a subtraction problem. Here's 1 2/3 minus the 1 1/5. The first thing we need to do is get a common denominator. That's step 1. That would be 15. Step 2, we have to do our multiplication. 3 times 5 and 2 times 5, which gives us a 10/15. This is 5 times 3, and 1 times 3, that will give us 3/15. And 10 minus 3 is, of course, 7/15. And the 1 whole minus the 1 whole is 0. So we know it will be 7/15 of a row left. For the bottom one, it says add or subtract the fractions. Let's go ahead and write this vertically. Here is 3 3/5 plus 5 4/6. So step 1, we have to write a fraction that they both have in common. They both have the number 30 in common. This is times 6. Times 6, that will give us 18. This is times 5. Times 5, that will give us 20. When we add 18 plus 20, we get 38 over 30. Now the way you would read that is 38 divided by 30. So you know that 30 can go into 38 once. And then when you subtract it, you have 8 left out of 30. I'll go ahead and do the long division way so you can visually see how I did that. Here's 38 being divided by 30. 30 can go into 38 once. That's my 1 whole. And then when you subtract, you have 8 left out of 30. So that's why it's 1 8/30. And then you have to add your wholes. So you have the 5 plus 3 up top, which is 8. Add that 1, which makes 9 8/30. But then you have to simplify by dividing the numerator and your denominator by 2. That gives us 9 wholes, and then 4 over 15. It's 4 because 8 divided by 2 is 4. and it's 15 as your denominator because 30 divided by 2 equals 15. For the second fraction, here it is. Let's go and write it. Oops, let's go and rewrite this again. Here is 5 and 4/6 minus 3 and 3/5. So we have to write our equivalent fractions. It has 30 in common as well. This is times 5 times 5. That will give us 20. This is times 6 times 6, which gives us 18. 20 minus 18 is 2 out of 30. And of course 5 minus 3, the whole numbers, will be 2. You want to divide both the numerator and denominator by 2, giving us a final answer of 2 wholes and 1/15.